Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to Let's Be Real. I'm your host, Joe Mambu, and I'm here with two special guests today, Cheyenne Finch from Bantu Centric and my main man, AJ. What's going on, brother?
Hey man, I'm doing really, really well, and I feel honored to be on your show today. Looking forward to contribute any way possible.
Oh, no doubt. We got much to talk about today. I see, first of all, we got to address that Patriots hat, though. What's going on with that?
Lifelong Patriots, man. I get really
Oh,
Bro, we
lifelong
talked
Patriots.
about it. I thought you were gonna take it off. What happened?
No, never take it off. That's disrespectful.
Word.
We got a dress code here. You
I
can't,
could
you can't come
never
in here
do
like
that.
that.
If anything, you're a Giants fan. You guys beat us twice, so if anything, you should be happy that I'm wearing it. If anything,
No,
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense. That just makes me even more disrespectful in my presence. Like,
Oh,
oh man, listen, no, I'm a lifelong Patriots fan. Obviously Brady's gone, but what we did in that 20-year run, it will never be duplicated.
and I almost
So
wore my Giants shirt today too. I should have worn it. I almost
oh.
did it.
Ain't no love for Green Bay up in here?
No, get
yeah,
out.
I don't know where that is.
Yeah. yeah, yeah.
We're in New York, bro.
man.
What you doing? What you doing?
Man. Okay. All right, everyone. Welcome to Let's Be Real. This is episode 109, and it's Inside the Bubble. Basically, it's some topics that's going on with the NBA bubble recommencing the season. And the first thing we want to talk about is the Jimmy Butler thing. So if you don't know, Jimmy Butler went nameless on the NBA on his NBA jersey of the Saturday night contest versus the Denver Nuggets. He opted not to go with a name on the back of his jersey, which wasn't approved by the league, and they made him switch jerseys before the game started. I mean, how do guys feel about that? Do you feel like the NBA kind of dropped the ball on this by telling Jimmy to change his jersey, or do you feel like because it wasn't within the rules that the NBA was justified in doing so what they did?
Personally, I think the NBA definitely overstepped. At first, when I first heard it, I thought he just came out with a blank jersey, so I was very confused. So
Yeah,
because I'm like, hey, they kind of need your number to like be able to do stats and stuff. But no,
true.
he still had his number, so they still know who he is. They can still
Yeah,
point him out on the court. He just had a blank jersey. And I read that his reasoning behind that is because this is who he would be if he wasn't an NBA player, which is
yeah,
valid. Like he wouldn't be this big basketball star. He would just be another black man on the street.
yeah,
So his message was completely valid. And the fact that the NBA is almost in a way censoring the messages that are allowed on the jerseys
yeah.
kind of it defeats the purpose of the message of the movement. Like you can't choose what people can and cannot say or how they can and cannot feel according to what works for the league.
That's true. AJ, how
My,
you feeling about it?
I mean, I saw the headline. Listen, I agree in terms of Jimmy's stance that if he wasn't playing basketball, he'd just be another person. I agree with that. It's true.
Yeah, yeah,
But at the same time, uh, the NBA is his place of employment, and so
yeah,
with him going in there, you could still make your voice heard. But at the same time, you should also, I believe, abide by the stipulations that go with your place of employment. It
yeah,
doesn't take away from his stance, and I support his stance in terms of, you know, the treatment of black men and women, and going after those who've committed injustices. At the same time, with it being his place of employment, that there are guidelines that you have to abide by, and you're still able to make your voice heard. I would go with that position.
But he
Um,
wasn't being disrespectful though. He just wore a blank jersey. Like I'd understand if he came out with a message and there was cussing in it, there was something really vulgar and inappropriate, and they're like, yo, we got children in the stands, you can't do that. Like that message, I understand it being like, this is your place of employment, you can't do that. But to
yeah,
come out in a blank jersey and to just say like, this is how I would feel if I didn't work here, like that doesn't feel disrespectful. It feels like a valid message. And to me, them trying to silence him is almost the same as when they tried to silence Colin Kaepernick because he didn't do anything disrespectful or vulgar. He just took a knee. He just
Yeah.
said, I'm not going to stand for the national anthem. And I felt like that was a very respectful way to get his message across.
Yeah.
And for the NBA to be like, no, you can only do these very few approved messages, shows that they had a whole meeting and they tried to find a way that would make everybody happy so that they're not like strongly one way or the other. They're just like, yeah, we want to support you, but in our own way.
Yeah. So this is the thing, Cheyenne. I do kind of agree with you a bit, right? And I agree with AJ at the same time. So the thing is with that is that before the NBA season started, right? You know, the NBA is a bit progressive, a bit more progressive than other leagues when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to, black and brown issues, social injustice issues, right? They want to make sure they want to demonstrate that they're with us because the NBA is 75% black people, right?
Right.
Uh, the thing is, before the NBA season started, there was 29 messages that were approved by the league. Right,
Mm-hmm.
this was agreed upon the NBA and the Players Association, which Chris Paul is president of. So Jimmy Butler knew, right? Jimmy Butler knew beforehand, like, hey, this message wouldn't be approved. And I agree to the certain point. Listen, the reason why he didn't have a name on the back of his jersey because like he's any other black man. The only thing is that he's in the spotlight and he's using his platform to show that hey, I'm a nobody. If I didn't dribble this basketball, they would look at me just like they look at y'all, look at us, right? So, but the problem is like yo, it is a place of employment, right? And before the NBA season started, everything was hashed out about the approved messages that players can use on the back of their jerseys. Right, Jimmy Butler is a little different. Jimmy Butler is a little eccentric. He kind of does what he wants to do. He likes to go against the grain, and I love Jimmy for that. But listen, it's one of the things you do have to kind of follow the rules because I think the NBA does do a really good job in making sure that black people are heard, right? That we are aware, that they are aware of the issues that's going on. And Jimmy Butler knew, but Jimmy Butler wanted to do what Jimmy wanted to do. But I love Jimmy's response into the fact that the reason why he put on his regular jersey now was because the team needed him. So Jimmy Butler
Right.
understands, right? Like
It's still a place of work. He still has a job to do,
yeah,
but he also got his message out there because they did say that he brought this up prior to the game that
yeah,
he
he did,
wanted to
yeah,
wear the blank jersey. So he didn't
yeah,
just surprise everybody and come
he
out on the
did it,
court
yeah,
blank jersey.
he
He
did
did
it,
say, this is what I want to do. And
yeah,
though they told him it wasn't approved, he went and did it anyway. And then he switched to his approved jersey. But the world has now seen it. So he
yeah,
got his message out there.
yeah,
He
and
did
that
what he came to
yeah.
do.
That's what I loved about it, right? Because even if you didn't get to wear it as long as you wanted to or got to do it, like the fact that we're talking about it is awesome enough.
He did his
I
job.
yeah, he did his job. You know what I mean? Uh, so on the next all right, on the next subject, which kind of coincides with what we just talked about, do you feel that the NBA bubble games are a distraction to the social injustice issues that's going on to America? Do you feel like it helps feeds it? Do you think it takes away from it? I'll let you start, AJ.
Repeat the question again.
No, I'm saying do you feel like the NBA bubble games is a distraction from the social injustice issues that's going on in America? I know a few players opted out because they wanted to be there for their families, and they felt like it was a distraction from the things that's going on currently here in America. But do you feel like that's the case?
Um, I mean, with the times that we're living in, with the social injustice issues and also with dealing with the coronavirus, I think bringing back sports, especially the NBA, it kind of takes people's minds away from the pressures and having to deal with what they're hearing on the news every day.
Yeah,
I think it's entertainment. It's what sports is comes down to. It's entertainment. So I think it relieves people of having to watch the news and how depressing that's become. Now, in terms of social justice issues, um, I don't think it takes anything away because, like you
yeah,
said earlier, with the NBA's, it's out of the four major sports, it's the most progressive
yeah,
in the United States, and it allows the NBA players like LeBron James to take a stand, to
yeah,
make his voice heard. So I think you can still, with what Cap did, being able to use that platform
yeah,
by taking a knee. I think the NBA allows its players to take a knee, and it draws, if anything, it draws more attention to the cause because now You know,
Yeah.
most of the people, a lot of people that we know, especially in the areas where we're from,
Yeah.
they look up to these stars. You
Most
know,
definitely.
I see what LeBron. Well, these kids, my students, they love LeBron.
Yeah.
Though I'm a Kobe fan, but
Oh
they
yeah.
love
Same
LeBron.
here. Same here.
They love the Chris Pauls of the world, the Steph Currys of the world,
Yeah.
Steph Currys of the world. So when they turn on the television, they're home too, and they haven't gone back to school yet,
Yeah.
and they see a player taking a knee. That gives them an opportunity to understand the issues. Versus, I prefer the kids seeing that than turning to CNN or MSNBC and Fox and hearing, different points of views from people
Yeah.
that really don't look like them, and they
Yeah.
can take that and twist it for their benefit, for
Yeah.
their ratings. Where when you have someone that looks like them who plays a sport that a lot of these kids play or want to
Yeah.
play,
Yeah.
then it draws more attention to the cause.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely agree. Honestly, I'm a person that believes like in times of like trouble or like times of great stress like we're going through right now, there should be a reprieve. There should be like a moment where you can kind of go back into normalcy. And it doesn't mean that you forgot everything that's going on. We still have
Yep.
our social justice issues. We still have
Yeah.
Corona. We still have everything going
Yeah.
on, but we can't focus on that all
Yeah.
the time or
Yeah.
else we'll go insane.
It's draining.
So
It's draining.
yeah, and people have definitely missed their sports since like it was announced everything was canceled. Like you can't go to these games in person and like get your snacks like you used to, get your beer
Right.
like you used to, hang out with the family, with your friends like you used to. You can't do what you used to. So they're
Yeah.
trying to find a way to still keep that sense of normalcy in
Yeah.
a way that's safe for everybody, which I respect and commend.
Yep.
And I like that they're still kind of bringing attention to the social justice issues and
Most
like
definitely.
making sure everything is safe and clean and like everybody is protected during this
Yeah.
time while also giving us a sense of entertainment. So
Yeah.
that way we're not completely without the things that we're used to.
That's true.
And we have a minute to kind of just take a breath and go back into like who we are and what we like to do.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think everything in life is a balance, right? You never get too high or too low, and I think the NBA being back does justice because, like you said, they are bringing these issues to light. With the Black
And
Lives
sports
Matter thing.
stimulate the economy. Like
Yeah, yeah, most
Yep.
we
definitely.
need them.
So I'm glad that it's back. I don't think it really takes away. I respect the players who aren't playing because they understand that they feel like their responsibility needs to be geared towards more than family than to the league, and I totally understand that, and I understand the guys who are there who are trying to use that platform, right? Because everybody's viewing in. That's really what it is. Everybody is
Yep.
viewing in, and they're using that platform, and they're seeing players kneel, and they're seeing the camaraderie, the solidarity, whether you're black or white, doesn't matter. They're all kneeling, and it's all for a really good cause and for a really good issue. So I commend the NBA. I think it's really good that what they're doing, and it's exciting. Speaking of the bubble games, right? Listen, the Suns right now, right? Nobody's talking about the Phoenix Suns, right? And the Phoenix Suns are playing red hot basketball right now. Before the whole pandemic break, the Phoenix Suns got blown out by 16 points by the Golden State Warriors, in which Golden State Warriors is a really good team, right? In the
Of
past, we
course.
know they've been to the finals the past 5 years, but the Warriors right now are the bottom of the basement, right? When it comes to record wise, Sherman, usually the host on the show is a big Warriors guy, and me and him go back and forth all the time about the Warriors because I hate the Warriors. But nonetheless, we're not going to elaborate too much on that. But
For
the,
sure, show up.
yeah, right. In relevance to the bubble game, in relevance to the season, the Warriors demolished the Suns and they had the worst record. But the Suns are red hot since the NBA came back. Man, they're 5-0. They still have to do a little bit to make the playoffs, right? They have to do a play-in tournament style game as well. But some other teams have to lose for the Suns to make that. How do you guys feel about the Suns? Is this just like a fluke thing? Is this just Devin Booker is like in his bag now? Like, I mean, how you guys feeling about this run by the Suns?
Listen, man, I'm a Lakers fan. I'm a lifelong Lakers fan.
Oh, my man, my man, my man. Okay,
I'm a
you need to be on
lifelong,
the show more often.
I'm a lifelong Lakers fan. So
Yeah.
I go way back. Shaq, Kobe, Elvin Campbell,
Oh,
Nick Van Exel, way back.
yeah,
But
word.
I'm gonna say this: Phoenix is hot right now. I mean, the beauty about playing in Orlando, with them playing in Orlando, there's no home court advantage.
It's not, man.
So
It's
it's like
not.
everybody comes out and plays, and anyone can catch fire at any time.
Yeah,
But I do believe come playoff time, when it comes down to, you know, experience during these long playoff runs,
yeah,
I think the more experienced teams, the Milwaukee's, the Lakers,
yeah,
the Celtics, the more experienced ball clubs, I think I don't see Phoenix holding up. I mean, what they're doing right now is really nice,
yeah,
but I and I could be wrong, but I just don't know when it comes to playoff basketball if they'll have that same intensity. Seeing how LeBron has been to the finals, what is it,
yeah.
nine,
Like 9 times.
eight
Yeah,
times, and then you have an Anthony Davis, with the length that team has, and then you have some other experienced ball clubs. I think it's like playing regular season basketball. You have certain teams they're gonna win games, they're gonna put up points,
yeah,
but then when you have to go 7 games, the more experienced team, a team that's
yeah,
been there, they know what it takes to win. I don't know if Phoenix holds up, but I will say this. One thing I could give them is this: not having to travel.
yeah,
I think it could play in their favor. It can play in their favor, but
yeah.
I'm not going to declare the Phoenix Suns being the NBA champions.
No one's saying that. No one's saying
I'm not
that.
going that far, but you have to give credit where credit's due. They're hot. I mean, it is what it is. You have to respect what they're doing. But I really believe down the stretch, when you have a LeBron James and Anthony Davis, guys who's been tried and and proven, and there's other ball clubs, 2 more experienced ball clubs who had deep playoff runs.
Yeah,
I think Phoenix. I'm gonna go with the more experienced team.
yeah.
I want to play devil's advocate
All right, go ahead.
and go Phoenix, just because I feel like this is really the time of the underdog. There's been a lot of downtime, a lot of unexpected downtime, and I think the more experienced teams, they're used to being the more experienced teams. They know what they're coming with, they know what their history is, they know what their skill set is, and it hasn't failed them. So they're trusting that. Whereas the underdogs, if they're smart, they've taken this time to grow. They've taken this time to learn, to study, to improve, and so that they can come back. And that's why the Suns are up like they are right now, because they came back with a completely different mindset. They came back like, I'm ready to play this new game, because we're in a time that nobody understands. And while these bigger teams are going to come cocky because they're the bigger teams, they're going to come new and improved.
Yeah.
So I always like to root for the underdog.
Question. Now, I'm question, and in the NBA, a lot of it has to do with matchups.
That's true.
Does Phoenix match up well with the Lakers?
No.
Will they match up with the Lakers?
Yeah, in terms of they match up. Like, are the matchups do they favor Phoenix?
That's not fair, because I'm a Lakers fan too. So you can't blame me like this.
So this is what I will say with this, right? Like the Lakers, obviously, Lakers and Clippers, everybody's talking about them in the West, the Bucks in the East, the Raptors in the East. But this is the time where an unsung team like Phoenix could come in and do some damage, right? They're 5-0, right? Their next three games is against Oklahoma, right? Obviously, Chris Paul's an MVP candidate. Philadelphia, where Ben Simmons is now leaving to get surgery, so he's not going to be playing. And Dallas, which, Luka Doncic has been playing insane, right? But Phoenix has a chance to go 8-0. We obviously know the Blazers lost the other night against the Clippers, in which Patrick Beverley and Paul George was making fun of Damian Lillard in that scenario. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But Devin Booker right now is high. I don't know if you guys seen that game where it was the Suns versus the Clippers. Now, to me, what I see, and this is why I kind of agree with Cheyenne, is that the Clippers are the hottest team in the league, which is crazy because as a Laker fan, it hurts me to say that tremendously.
God, remember they were like babies, like
right?
They will always, until they win a title, they'll always be babies to me. I mean, the Clippers.
Listen,
Yeah.
I
I remember
hear
I went
you.
to see a Lakers game in person, and the Clippers ran out, and I was like, "What is
Yo,
this?"
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
Where's the Lakers?"
Listen, I'm telling you, it's the time, and you look at it like this: the Lakers are a great team, right? But the Lakers, they're two stars. The problem is that the teams that are too good get complacent because they know they're too good. They feel like they could turn it on anytime.
Mhm.
The problem with that is like now it's reported that LeBron James and Anthony Davis aren't doing shoot arounds, right? So the
Mhm.
Lakers are dead last in three. This hasn't been a thing that just happened in the bubble. This is something that happened prior to the bubble where they're not a really great 3-point shooting team. Obviously, that's going to change a little bit with J.R. Smith and Dion Waiters being there now, with the absence of Avery Bradley. But the Lakers aren't a great 3-point shooting team. Anthony Davis gets hot, but then he fades in the fourth quarter. LeBron James is putting too much of the onus on Anthony Davis, right? And then if you look at that Lakers team is really top heavy, right? You
Mhm.
have two of the top 5 players. You have Anthony Davis, LeBron James, right? Outside of that, you ain't got much because JaVale McGee, we know him from Shaq and the Fool. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Well, Dwight Howard has revitalized his career, but he's asked not to do as much as he used to back in the day, right? But J.R. Smith, if you're telling me the Lakers can go ahead and turn it on anytime with, the Henny guy, J.R. Smith and Dion Waiters, like that's a little different. You know what I mean? Where the Clippers is more deep with Montrez and chicken wing Lou. You know what I'm saying? but, but the to Cheyenne point, the Suns are hungry, and Ricky Rubio talked about it. These are all guys who are unproven, and in this bubble, you have the opportunity to slay Goliath. You know what I'm saying? You have the opportunity to slay Goliath. And listen, some things have to happen for Phoenix to get in. Like teams have to lose, even if they go 8-0. Phoenix still, some other teams have to lose. But the fact that Devin Booker is the meager age of 23 years old and he is doing things to Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Listen, Monty Williams is a great head coach. This is an opportunity to, if anything, if there's any moral victories can be happening in this NBA bubble, the Suns, even if they don't make the playoff, this is a great building block for them to be a dangerous team.
He's
Listen,
young and hungry.
yeah, Denver has
Like
done
he's
it.
out here.
Denver has done it. There's no reason why the Suns can't do it too. You know what I'm saying? So we got to look out. It may be a thing where the Lakers and Clippers don't even win the finals. You might get the Boston Celtics. And, as Lakers fans, we should all hate Boston. I think we could
Of
agree
course.
on that.
Of course.
But,
Yeah.
I don't pay attention.
you
Pay
know what I'm saying?
attention to Boston. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, but listen, you never know. And that's why I'm loving the bubble games, right? Because there's teams that wouldn't make the playoffs, but they might get the chance to make the playoff because of the new format that is now currently going
Now,
on.
question with the tournament. I know it's a tournament format, correct? With the
Yeah, it's like a playing tournament.
okay.
But
So once again, it's a tournament. Is it still best of 7 or?
I don't know. I don't know if I think it's like a play-in game, right? So
Okay.
once the play-in games are done, then the Eastern Western Conference, those playoffs will play as they normally do.
Okay.
Playing game is for the teams that are like kind of close, may have the same record because of division and whatnot. They'll have a playing game, kind of like how like a March Madness type thing, and
Gotcha.
then that will have the playoff seeding in the East and West. So that's how it is. But let's touch on Damian Lillard a little bit. Now we all know it usually is Dame time, and when it's Dame time, that means you done, right? That's the reason why Paul George is now in LA, and it's the reason why now Russell Westbrook is in Houston because Dame time shut the door on OKC, right? Uh, so there was a game against the Clippers a couple nights ago that Dame missed 2 free throws. The Clippers ended up winning that game, but Paul George and Patrick Beverley proceeded to mock Damian Lillard as he missed those free throws. Now, there's some beef with those two, as we all know. The reason why Paul George is not in OKC anymore because the last time Paul George was in an OKC uniform, he got Dame time hit on him, right? You remember Dame? He hit that 3, and Paul George said it was a really bad shot. So I guess Paul George and Pat Beverly got a little bit of revenge because they both played for the Clippers and they beat the Blazers. How are you feeling about that, Dame? How do you feeling about that whole situation between Dame Lillard and Paul George and Pat Beverly?
AJ, I'm gonna let you rock on this one.
I read along the lines he had, I think, tweeted. That's why you keep moving around, something like that. That's what Dame had tweeted.
Listen, he ain't lying. When I read that tweet, I was like,
Yeah,
yo, people don't talk real like that anymore. And Dame Lillard was talking some real shit.
he was talking. I mean, I've never viewed Paul George as a superstar. I've always viewed him as a Scottie Pippen type of player.
I could agree with that.
You put him alongside a star like a Kawhi Leonard, he will shine, because we saw when Paul George was in Indiana, he could never get past LeBron, even when they would go 2-1. And this is our year against Miami, and they would choke, whether it'd be in 6 or 7 games. So with PG, I never saw PG as that guy. So I mean, when you're not that guy, you don't want to go after a guy like Damian Lillard, who leads this team. Even though I think he'll never win a championship in Portland with that team.
Yeah, I agree.
But I wouldn't go after if with Paul George's situation, moving around and not being able to get over the hump, and I wouldn't have gone after him. But I think it's all fun and games. I mean, I hope it is. I don't think it's anything beyond that, because I don't. Yeah, I think it's all fun and games, to be honest with you. But Dame was speaking. There was truth to what he was saying.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. Paul George moved quite a few times. I like Paul George, but at the same time, listen, he's 1B, right? He's never going to be a 1A. That's why he's there with Kawhi. But Dame is right, man. Like, listen, Paul George is kind of front running because the Clippers are going to make the playoffs no matter what. They're going to be number 2 seed in the West, right? The lowest they could go is the 3. But listen, Dame was totally right on his tweets, and everybody has a bad game. All right, I thought it was a little bit distasteful because it was one of the things is like, I know it's in within competition to do that.
Yep.
But it felt distasteful. It felt distasteful a little bit to me for Paul George. I mean, well, it wasn't Paul, Marcus Morris and Patrick Beverly to be laughing on the sideline. You know what I mean? Dame is a tremendous player, and Paul George waved goodbye, but it's like you didn't hit the final shot. So, it's like, yo, you're hiding behind your team. You know what I'm saying? But you never know. I don't think the Blazers are going to make the playoffs, but it would be interesting to see that as a first round matchup between the Clippers and the Blazers, just to see if Dame could do it again, because it'll be different this time. You know what I mean?
The Clippers?
Listen, that's what I'm saying. If he does it against the Clippers, Paul George can never say anything ever again in his career, ever. You know what I'm saying?
I'll give you this. If it was like college basketball, the NCAA tournament, one and done, okay. But if it's best of 7, I don't see it going 5 games.
Really?
Nah, with against the Clippers.
Listen, that backcourt in Portland dangerous, man. They could heat up.
And then what happened against Golden State last year?
Listen. Golden State.
The last year before that.
Listen, Golden State arguably is the greatest basketball team of all time. One time I went to go see them.
Of all time?
All time. Arguably. Think about it. I'm talking about the Kevin Durant Golden State Warriors.
Nah.
Who would be better than them?
The 96 Bulls?
Listen. It depends on the rules, right? It depends on the rules.
The 86 Celtics?
Listen, but we're not even talking about the 2000-2001 Lakers. We're all Lakers fans.
Exactly.
But listen, that Golden State team is dangerous, man. That's a dangerous team.
As a Lakers fan, how can you call any other team the greatest of all time? Like, how
how
dare you?
Look, Kobe's the greatest player of all time. That's what I will say.
I did not come onto your show to be disrespected like this.
You know what I'm saying? But listen, that Warriors team is dead. So anybody who is beating, if you're beating that Golden State team like the Raptors did last year, it had to be injuries, right? To the point where
Oh, definitely.
to the point where it was, if you had Klay Thompson, they still could have won. That's how dangerous that Golden State Warrior team is. Now they don't got Kevin Durant. Listen, it's in the history books that the Raptors won that championship.
Mhm.
But it could have been a different story if Klay and KD was part of that championship, that team last year. I just want to touch a little bit. Speaking of the Golden State Warriors, right before we head off, how do you feel about Draymond Green talking about Devin Booker, right? Do you consider it tampering? Because Draymond Green said on TNT, he was like, I guess he's like a part-time analyst. He was saying that Devin Booker is a great player and he needs to get out of Phoenix. How do you guys feel about that? Do you feel like that's kind of tampering? Because you got to remember, Draymond, even though they're not in the playoffs, they're not in the bubble, he's still an active player in the NBA. And listen, they have a contract in which they could swap most evenly with Devin Booker if Devin Booker wants out of Phoenix, and that contract is Andrew Wiggins. So how do you guys feel about the tampering that Draymond might have done?
I think if you're in the mix, then that's definitely tampering. Like, it'd be one thing if he was just analyzing, like if he was just like, it's just my opinion as a person on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
outside, but that's not what he's doing.
I believe he's trying to recruit him the way he did with. Well, he didn't do it with Kate. Well, he recruited KD, but
He cried to KD.
right. I think it's he's kind of throwing it out the bait out there.
Yeah.
We could use. I don't know, but I don't listen. I don't know how deep Devin Booker would fit in Golden State.
Yeah. Oh, another shooter? Come on.
Yeah, coming off the bench.
No, he could be the
start.
He could be the two. That you can move Klay Thompson to the 3. You can move Klay Thompson to the 3.
Has Klay ever played the 3?
Yeah, he's a shooting guard / small forward. You can move him to the 3.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
So wait, so you have Steph, Devin Booker, and Klay. That'd be interesting.
That's dangerous. That's dangerous, man. But listen, Cheyenne, anything you want to say before we go on the? She like, nah, I'm good.
You know me, underdog. I want Devin to stay where he is. Take the Suns all the way.
I feel you. I want competition. I agree with you, Cheyenne. I want competition. Listen, I want to thank you guys for tuning into another episode. I want to thank Cheyenne and AJ for coming in, filling in for Big Sherm. You guys did a wonderful job. I look forward to having you guys back. If you, for the people out there, if you got any questions and comments, make sure, or even topics you want to talk about, hit us on lbrstalk@gmail.com. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Let's Be Real Sportscast. Check out the LBRS Sports blog where Big Sherm does a good job in between episodes providing dope content. And Instagram as well. Listen, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys jumping in because it was amazing. It's fun. I hope we do it again. And that's another episode in the bag. Peace.
Yeah, anytime.
Appreciate you, man.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.